In this video, I'm going to show you how to select AI models in Topaz Video AI by using some of the most common use cases that our users have. So the first thing you want to do is load the app, and then I have these 3 video files here on my desktop. Each one represents a different common use case. This first one is for upscaling. It's a 720p video that I want to upscale. The second one is an old family video that was digitized and it's interlaced, and I want to de-interlace it. And the third one is some shaky footage you can see here that I want to stabilize using our new Stabilization AI model. And so the first thing that I did after launching the app is I selected these 3 video files and I dragged them onto the app. You'll see the 3 video files in your input queue. And so let's start with upscaling. That's probably the most common use case here. So if you look under the video section on the right here, you will see your input, resolution, and frame rate. This is a 1280 by 720p video at 24 frames per second. So under the output section, you can select what resolution you want to upscale to. And so watch what happens when I select, say, 4K. When I select it here, the enhancement pane over here is locked. It's enabled. It's required when upscaling. So after you select your resolution, one of the things you can do is also choose if you want to increase frame rate. So let's say I want to go from 24 frames per second to 60 frames per second. I can do that as well. Now, because I did that, specifically adjusting frame rate, we also enabled frame interpolation, which is required for frame rate conversion. If I go back to original, you'll see that frame interpolation is disabled. Same thing if I go to the original resolution, you'll see that enhancement is disabled. So let's go with 4K and 60 frames per second. So the first thing we can do here for at least for frame conversion, or frame rate conversion rather, is you can choose which AI model you want to use. You can choose Apollo, which is our newest slow motion model. It's really great if you want to do, say, 8x slow motion, or if you're trying to apply slow motion to a video that has a lot of organic movement. But Chronos Fast is probably the best model to use at this case for frame rate conversion. The other area where you can select models is under Enhancement, and this is more for your upscaling. So by default, when you upscale, we will select Proteus with auto parameters. What that means is that Video AI will analyze the video and adjust settings accordingly to give you the best possible results. However, we do have other models here based on the needs of your video. So if you did want to denoise or sharpen your image more, especially denoise, you would use Artemis. And then we also have Gaia and Thea over here. With Proteus, you have, like I said, the option to have auto parameters selected. You can also select relative to auto. What this means is that Proteus will still do auto analysis of your video, but if you want to further bias any of these settings, you can. So let's say I want to take whatever Proteus determines for sharpening in auto, but I want a little bit more. In that case, it will factor that in. And then finally, there's manual, which allows you to control each of these sliders independent. There won't be any auto calculations. So I'm going to stick with auto here. And so that is how you can access the models for upscaling and frame rate conversion. Again, probably the most common of the use cases for Topaz Video AI. Now let's move on to de-interlacing. I'm going to click on this video here, and I am on a frame already where you can clearly see that the video is interlaced. You can see these jagged lines. If I zoom in some more, you can see them very clearly. So we do want to de-interlace. So let's say I just want to de-interlace. I don't even want to upscale right now. What I would do is I would enable enhancement over here. I would then change the video type to interlaced. If it was an interlaced progressive video, I would select that. But because this is an interlaced video, I'm selecting it over here. You have the option here in terms of the field order, whether you want auto detect, top field first or bottom field first. And then here is where you can choose your model, your different Dione models for de-interlacing. So if you have a particular Dione model that you prefer based on the input video type, you can select it over here. And then all you have to do is either preview or export the video and it will be de-interlaced. And of course, you can choose to upscale as well while you're here. And then the third and final use case is stabilization. Like I mentioned, this video is very shaky, and this is pretty straightforward. Of course, you can do your upscaling and your frame rate conversion if you want, but if you just want to stabilize, all you have to do is enable stabilization. And then I recommend the auto crop model. I find that it really produces excellent results. If your footage suffers from that wobbly kind of jelly effect from rolling shutter, then you'll want to enable rolling shutter correction. And then if there is a lot of jittery motion, then enabling reduced jittery motions is a great option to enable. And then you can control how many passes you want that other model to run through the video. And that's how you can find the different AI models in Topaz Video AI based on some of the most common use cases. Be sure to head over to topazlabs.com to learn more about Topaz Video AI and download a free trial today. Thanks a lot.